So, Parvesh, you completed your college life, and now let's discuss how was your career. So, where you started actually. So, what was your first job, and how you got into your first job? So, can you explore on your interview and how did you get that job? What was the procedure? How you applied there, or you got a call from the company, or anything related to that?
To be very honest, my official first job was with Mr. At a brand called Ripple and Happy, Narula Kotior.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it was all of a sudden change that happened. Basically, one of my dearest friend, uh, she was very into social media and everything like that. So she read a post that Rimple and Harpreet Narula Kotior is hiring, and she immediately shared me that post. I
Mm-hmm.
went there. I gave the interview in it was in uh, Southex area somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Before Southex, they had a very good. They still have a very good, very brand store over there.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the name. So I gave my interview over there, and Mr. Harpreet was himself was taking an interview, and with another person is called Rahul. They were taking my interview, and I was still in that phase. Like I somehow knew it. ठीक है ना, how hard can it be? I'll just give my best, and rest is up to the God. So I gave my interview, and it was a pretty happening thing happening over there. It wasn't not at all full of tension, like usually how the corporate interviews are.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me certain questions, and uh, uh, according to my knowledge, I gave all the answers. And still, since I was just graduated from the college, so I
Mm-hmm.
still had that pretty playfulness in my nature. So I was in giving my interview accordingly. They were asking me questions, and I was giving some answers, and a little, tweaking of the answer just to make it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we were three people, out of which two of us got selected. And to be very honest, why it was very not too much pressure on me. The main reason was I never during that time I never heard Rimpan Harpreet, because in my head they were only a few big designers that I've heard of, like Tarun Tahliani and
Yeah.
Manish Malhotra and all those big names. So I never heard Rimpan Harpreet, but later on I got to know how big the player they were.
Yeah. So basically, what kind of question you got over there? So that our viewer could actually understand how to get prepared for that.
See, I do not remember all the questions, but
Mm-hmm.
most importantly, what I tell you, most important question that majorly every interviewer asks if we are going for a design job. First of all, they'll ask you the your knowledge regarding the fabrics, how
Mm-hmm.
many types of fabric you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
what all techniques of the embroideries do you know. Based on what they specifically test your knowledge regarding the textiles of India, since you'll be working on Indian textile, be it embroidery, be it prints, be it anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So major knowledge of fabrics and fabric, textile, be it embroidery, prints, anything, you need to know that. Plus and up top of that, if you still have a very good resume built on your previous past industrial experience, like internships and all, so you gain certain knowledge of how to work in a team,
Hmm.
and from that knowledge you get to have a little idea uh, before starting your first job, okay, how much amount of time, what kind of a work will take. So
Mm-hmm.
accordingly, if somebody will ask you certain questions, so you will have some base to support your answers.
Hmm.
statements or anything like that. Not rather than just throwing the answers in the air and not finding heads and tail of things.
So you were actually telling me that there was some, kind of funny moment at there. So
Yeah,
basically, can
yes,
you just tell to our viewer?
I would love to elaborate on that. The thing is, uh, it was my last question,
Mm-hmm.
and prior that we had like a half an hour interview,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, the whole atmosphere was. I mean, I was just very lucky, or I do not know, but the whole atmosphere was very happening.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the interview was inside their store, and it was my first visit to their store, and you can imagine, right? I'm a NIFT student, freshly graduated NIFT student, and I was seeing highly uh, time-consuming couture garments hanging all around me, and I was just grasping everything. It was like a moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was less worried about the interview, and I was more happy about that I've been able to see those garments. So I was happy about that. And the very last question Mr. Harpreet asked me was, "Hey, Parvesh, could you tell us one, you have to tell us certain garments, or sorry,
Mm-hmm.
certain fabrics that are poly-based."
Only base.
So, yes, I do not remember the first three answers, but since before that I did my internship from designing job in Saman Chauhan, so they used to work with mostly polyrosil. It was
Okay.
that. So that thing I had in my mind. Okay, okay. So I worked with polyrosil. So this question I know, it's still in my head, but it's not coming out of my mouth. So I was like, sir, okay, this last one I know. You asked me four, I already told you three. The last one I know. You just give me a moment, or I'll text you. See,
Mm-hmm.
nobody can say, okay, I'll text you. What kind of a thing I was saying? I didn't know, but I was just happy being there, sitting there with one of the great people of the industry. Most of the people don't get that kind of exposures. So I was just very happy. So in that moment, it just came out of my mouth. And Harpreet sir was very chill. Okay, the guy is good. You are not trained according to the industries yet. And so our interview winded up. And I remember I was going outside of the door. I was leaving the interviewing area. And then I came back. I scooped in, and my head was inside, my body was outside of the door, and I was like, "Sir, the last um, textile is polyfossil." And he laughed so hard. I was like, "Okay, okay, 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 we'll call you."
Okay.
I had so much energy inside me that time. I was not at all worried about the interview. I was just being very happy that I got to see such great out of work, and sitting in front of such great people, whether I'll get the job or not, but I was just feeling very blessed. Okay, okay, I'm sitting in front
So
of those people.
basically, you got the job just because you were not worried about anything like how the interview will go, what will
I
be
think so,
question.
yes,
So basically, you were
yes.
very kind, chill kind of, person, and so you went there and you just came out without getting worried about, okay, I will get the job or not. So basically, most of the people, those who go for the interview job, they're kind of worried. Will I get the job? Will I not? And these kind of stressful moment, yeah,
Yes,
actually,
they build inside your head, and
yeah,
you just
and they
lose
finally
your
end up with no job actually.
yes,
So
correct.
if so for the viewer, if they are just looking to prepare for the job interview, they should not be worried about getting the job first,
I
right?
think everybody should give their 100% and not to think about getting a job exactly as you're saying. They should just think about giving their 100%, whatever they are, who, whoever they are, and what is their true personality. They should
Yeah,
never change their personality.
yeah,
That's the best part. Interviewee or a person who's hiring you is looking for is your true self. If he's
exactly.
paying you accordingly, then he would be demanding your true self and your true potential because their company still their company is still running even before you're joining. So what
Yeah,
can they get out of you? They're interested more in that rather than just being the part of the system.
yeah, exactly. So you started your career from Rimple, Harpreet and Rimple.
Simple and happy,
Yeah,
definitely. That is what.
and so you were also telling me that you were part of this project, the Padmavat movie. So
Oh,
how you got into this project basically? So basically, you were very new, and it was very hard to trust a newbie in this industry and to actually get into that kind of big movie. So how you got into there and how you started to work in that project?
you know, it was just like you've heard, you must have heard that phrase "कि सोने पे सुहागा," right?
Mm-hmm.
How our elder says. So before joining the company, I had no idea regarding the project, nothing as such. And the very first day I stepped into their Noida-based factory, they introduced us with the entire team. And over there, I got to know, okay, they've got this big opportunity. And during that time, they were still under selection process. And mm, I my happiness, it was unmeasurable during that time. And obviously, I didn't say anything to anyone because I didn't want to jinx it.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the starting time, we were on trial basis for like 2 months, and most of the people don't get is कि, uh, people they just want to get hired and they want to start earning money.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, you need to also understand that there's a person who's going to invest in you. He or she has a equal right to know what kind of a person you are and whether you'll be good for the organization or not. So for the first 2 months, I was on like a kind of I was working without any pay, but
Okay.
I was very happy because it was like a dream job for me. And on top of that, Padmavat project was just the cherry on the top. So I was
Mm-hmm.
happy without being paid anything like that. And even after 2 months, I still remember I got my first salary was somewhat around 15K.
Mm-hmm.
And for a newbie who came into the industry, I was not much um, uh, worried about the payment,
Mm-hmm.
but I was very happy that I'm being able to be the part of the organization. Still, on the other hand, I have this Padmavat project as well. I'm being able to be part of the Padmavat project as well, and it is very disheartening because these days what I hear from my some of my friends who are running their own companies and have their own businesses, they get to hear like people uh, they're not ready to work for 15K, and they say it on the face that this is very less for us. I mean, at least you start to work for us now, for the company. You'll always have your moments when you can go directly and talk with the organization HR person, whatever it is. You first need to prove yourself.
Yeah.
I have done with myself. Like I've worked for 4 months or something like that. After getting a 15K salary, I worked for 4 to 5 months, and then I asked them for a raise. and they were very okay with it. Like
Yeah.
they saw my work and they were very okay with it. So I think people first need to, okay, we deviated from the point, but this is something just I
It is
wanted to
very
say
important
that
to
people,
understand that. So many people who join internship, they demand actually they want to get paid for that.
yes,
And but actually, when they enter into the industry or any industry or within, they get associated with any company. So basically, they do not understand that what exactly the value they are going to add into the company. If they are not adding any value to the company, why the company will pay you? So
yes.
basically, you get paid if you are able to at least add some value, and nobody knows your value until you do the work. So
Obviously.
it's very important for anyone who is watching this series. So they should first not get shy away. They should not be ashamed that they are not getting paid. They should at least work there, understand the company, the work culture, should get the experience, and the company will be happily to pay you once they
Hmm.
identify that okay, you are a person they are actually looking for and you have the capability.
And yeah, it goes, it's like it's a jungle out there. Everybody is working for their own,
Yeah.
and people need to prove themselves. If you want to get paid extra, then you have to do that extra work that nobody else is willing to do.
Yeah. So, so how this Padmavat project started? Like, what was the initial work? How you started your research on the design development, the style development, the fabric sourcing? How were all these stuffs there?
Okay, so the very first step was we used to get the, and it's same for both of my project, Yara movie and the Padmavat as well. We got a script, we got the whole script of the movie even before the movie got released.
Mm-hmm.
How what and in those in, script, there were many scenes that were written,
Mm-hmm.
and accordingly, like which scene is going to be shot first, which scene is going to be shot afterward, and all that. And also those things changed accordingly, and because of many uh, because of many things like garments, readiness of the garment, the actor who was available for the shoot of that day or
Mm-hmm.
not, the set was ready or not, the lighting, the mood, and everything. There were so many the things that there were so many factors that affected that series of the shoot. So we got the entire script of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and our first job was to search uh, about the characters, how
Mm-hmm.
they were, about the entire history, about Raja Ratan Sen, about Rani Padmavat, about Alauddin Khilji and his wife Mehru Nisa. And Alauddin Khilji was one of my uh, best projects I haven't done yet, because there were no major research papers or research articles were there for Alauddin Khilji. They were only bits and pieces of information that we collected from the internet, from papers, from articles we've read, and many more researches we have done. The very best part of this project was the hardcore research, because we gained so much knowledge, not just about the movie, about our Indian textile as well.
Okay.
So everything comes with its own hidden perks.
Mm-hmm.
So while we were doing the research for Padmavat movie, we've learned so many things for our Indian culture, Indian traditions, textiles, and everything like that. And Khilji was my favorite subject because during that time, there was no much of a research paper, as I said. No research work for Alauddin Khilji was there. So I had to make everything from the scratch, including the look of the person.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we've had our inspiration during that time. Game of Thrones were really in. Marco Polo were really in. So we were taking so many inspiration, and there was so much of a uh, teamwork was happening, discussions was happening. Okay, what kind of a look we want to give him, what kind of a personality we want to give him, whether he or she, whether he's going to have a tall hair, long hair, or so every bit, tiny pieces have been researched very thoroughly, and Harpreet sir played a very major role
Mm,
part. We were just young designers, and obviously our seniors were also there. We used to research each and everything, and then we used to discuss with Harpreet sir, and obviously the final decisions was
mm,
his and Mr. Bhansali's. So after our research work is done, we finalize some uh, textiles, not exactly textile, similar looking textile, like what
mm,
kind of a look we want to give him. See if you are preparing or making a villain. So basically, things has to be a little bold, harsh, and statement kind of pieces for him. You know,
mm.
because without a villain, there is no hero in the
Yeah,
movie. There's no work of a hero. So villain always has to be very powerful,
exactly.
and that was and that is also a reason why it was a my favorite project, because I was just preparing for him only. I had no interest in the hero, because I've been uh, brought up uh, reading and watching Batman, and more than the Batman, I was a fan of Joker. Like, he's the greatest villain of all time till now. What I feel, there's no much bigger villain than Joker. I think even Joker is bigger than Thanos, because he utilizes his brain. My God, that guy.
Yeah.
So, and also uh, making textile for Alauddin Khilji,
Mm-hmm.
they were included many steps of experimentations.
Mm,
See, for Raja Ratan Singh, we knew, okay, this kind of a fabric, this kind of a prints, this kind of a color story will work for him. But for Alauddin Khilji, I still remember, I learned one technique of creating a fabric in my college time, where you have to cut a needle from the
mm-hmm.
middle, so the sharpness part of it is has been lost, and now you just uh, stitch the don't stitch the fabric, because you just run your needle all over the fabric, so it created a little rugged feel to it, you
Mm,
know. So weaves were uh, came out from the fabric. So we created so many experimental fabrics for him, and we usually um, did the amalgamation with leather and some silks,
mm-hmm.
and we did some experimentation on it. We did some patchwork of leather in the uh, linen and mostly silk fabrics.
Mm.
So that's how all the look has been created for him. And I still remember there were a time. I freshly graduated from the college, so I had this much of a long hair. So we shared the first outfit look with Mr. Bhansali, and he told us that, okay, the garment is really good, but somehow I'm not being able to visualize Alauddin Khilji in that. Do a photo shoot kind of a thing with some person wearing it, and how the whole look has to be has to be. Like, basically, it was our responsibility to get the look right, and getting the look right, it just doesn't mean getting the perfect garments for the character. It also has to be, the garment should uh, amplify the entire look of the
So basically,
entire
it should be like
personality.
reflect the personality of Alauddin Khilji. So he
Yes,
wanted to
and
look
it
like
has
that.
to intensify.
Yeah,
If he's a danger, and if he's a dangerous person, so his garment has to be like that.
exactly.
We had to correlate with everything. So I still remember I had this long hair. I share you the images so that our viewers can also see.
Yeah.
Uh, my dearest friend over there, Navneet, she backcombed my hair and she put a kajal on my eyes. I put up the garments that we made for Alauddin Khilji, and it was a big, huge leather belt over my waist, and my mustaches were rolled up, and the beard was. I still had. I think I did had a very good beard over that time, and I had a this
Long curly hair.
cap. Yes, curly hair and cap. So my hair were coming out from the cap. It was all back home, and she did a very fantastic job making my look.
Mm.
And after that, we clicked the pictures, and I was in that pose, angry pose, and my eyes were like, it was a very fun project. So we did click 4 and 5 images with on me, and we sent it to Mr. Bhansali, and then he got very into it. Yes, this is the look what I'm looking for. I
Mm.
think you should lock it. And after our hard work, it got selected. The look got selected, approved, and since that we started working on the project. We were relieved. We were still working on the project, but we were relieved. Okay, the look for Alauddin Khilji has been finalized.
So who decided the? So basically, did you also work for the Queen's dress or only for the Alauddin Khilji?
No, I mostly like 80% of my work for Alauddin Khilji and Mehru Nisa,
Hmm.
and just 20% work was for Rana Ratan Sen
Okay.
and Rani Padmavat because we are a team, no? So whenever I used to get the time, and because you see, a movie project is such that you have to make a garment that usually take months and months to make,
Yeah.
but you still have so much of a limited time and number of outfits also, and repetitions of those outfits as well.
Hmm.
So we were usually making such garment that usually takes 2 to 3 months in just 10 days or 7 days.
Hmm.
We we were working overnights, and God knows how many uh, Sundays we worked, but it was very fun project. So
So quite a
because
challenging project actually.
it's challenging and interesting at the same time, because uh, Padmavat Rani was a huge project to make garments for her. So our design team was very much occupied. Yes, it was challenging for making garments for Alauddin Khilji, but at the same time,
Hmm.
Rani Padmavat has to be look very glamorous,
Yeah.
and the title Rani, our garments has to um, amplify the effect.
Karishma of Rani Padmavat
Yes,
actually.
yes, yes, yes. So when our team was
So
very busy,
how long the duration of this project? How long the duration of this project?
I guess uh, almost like year and a half for the that project run. Year and a half.
Great. So basically it took more than 1 year.
Yes. And 1 year, many sleepless nights, many days of Sundays working, many days of God knows how many lunch our entire team has missed, but it was a fun project.
So you worked over there for how many years? Like
Three, and- three, 3 years and 9 months to be specific.
almost 4 years.
Yes.
Okay. So you completed this project in 1.5 year, and then worked over there for almost 4 years, and then what next?
Then their
Actually,
houseful project was also there.
okay.
And
So at the Dimple, you have worked for the hostel movie as well.
yes, and houseful movie was there. And
Mm-hmm.
side by side, it I wasn't just working for the movies project. I was
Mm-hmm.
handling their put your orders, and I
Mm-hmm.
was making the collection. I was the part of for making the collections as well.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, uh, I had a hand in handling some of the projects related to their Ambavata store as well, the
Mm-hmm.
interiors. I worked for their chandeliers, obviously under the guidance of Harpreet sir. So
Mm-hmm.
I made their chandeliers as well, some part of their interiors and their menswear, women's wear collection, shoes, uh, orders, and everything. Now, if I think back of it, and now if I look back at it, it almost seems impossible to me now. I don't know where this energy came. Like now, I
So if you look yourself that there was a Padmavat movie and there was a Houseful 4 movie. Both
yes,
are quite different kind of
yes,
style. So you have one very traditional style and one have the very Western style,
yes,
right? So
contemporary, we can
how
say.
you manage yourself to transfer your mindset into this kind of transformation, like from traditional to the Western style.
It wasn't very much challenge. It wasn't that challenging because
Mm-hmm.
we were just the back end part of it.
Mm-hmm.
All the instructions, all the approvals were coming from Harpreet sir
Mm-hmm.
initially, no. But yes, the taste has been changed a little. Uh, in my favor, the how the tables have turned in my favor that before the this Houseful 4 movie project, I've learned the art of making menswear in Ripple and
Mm-hmm.
Harpreet only.
Okay.
So in that movie, I made the looks for the for all the post era men
Okay.
for the menswear. Like I was in my
So.
team, I was handling the men's part
Okay.
of the Akshay Kumar
Mm-hmm.
and two other people. Sorry, I'm not good with remembering names. I'm not
Yeah,
much
three,
into
three
movies
actors
and
were
all.
there.
Yes,
Akshay
yes, yes.
Kumar, Ritesh,
Akshay Kumar,
Deshmukh,
Bobby Deol, and Ritesh
Ritesh.
Deshmukh.
Ritesh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other team, my seniors, they were handling the women's part of it.
Mhm. Great. So basically, you are kind of looking into the menswear fashion, almost like
Yes,
from Khilji to the Akshay Kumar style and all.
yes.
Great. Then after Harpreet, which company you joined?
I joined the company called uh, Marwa Couture,
Hmm.
and it was a sister company of Payal KI.
Okay.
And I still remember I went with the same energy and I told them that my main reason for leaving the company was that I learned mostly what I can learn in 3 years for with the company, and I wanted to do something much more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but every brand has its own USP, so we cannot derive from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky enough that I received the call to join the company, Payal
Mm-hmm.
KR. Uh, I'm sorry, Marwa Couture, who was a sister company of Payal KR.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no Marwa Couture before me joining the company. It was in the backhand. There was no initial launch of the name called Marwa Couture. Obviously, the owner of the company had headed me in the direction how he wants the brand to be, how the color should be, how how much. uh, sorry, how much experimentation he wants with the brand. So he headed the entire design, creative aspect of it. He
Mm-hmm.
told, guided us what he wants for the brand, and I was heading the brand over that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very successful launch,
Okay.
Marwar Couture.
So you worked there for how much long?
I worked there for 2.5 years.
Over there. Okay. So after Mara Couture, you joined another company?
Yes, after Marwar Couture, I was no, no. But after Marwar Couture, so the COVID hits, and
Mm-hmm.
I was working freelancely for many people
Mm-hmm.
because people have been laid off and people not been able to pay full salary. So I worked for several months or maybe years for as a freelance designer.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I joined Ritu Kumar,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked there for like a year over there.
Mm-hmm. So what was your profile at Ritik Kumar?
I was the senior manager in design in Ritu Kumar.
So
I was
any
actually
specific,
heading the
mm-hmm.
yes, I was actually heading the couture part of it.
Mm. So any specific project you undertaken over there?
Not as such. Uh, it was a very short span of time that I worked over there
Mm-hmm.
because in my head, Ritu Kumar was one of the brands that I was eagerly looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
work with because I wanted to learn so much from Ritu ma'am. And it was a dream come true for me to be able to work with
Mm-hmm.
Ritu ma'am. But uh, what happened was the couture part of it was happening all in Kolkata, and the retail part of it was happening in Gurgaon.
Really?
I didn't knew about this before.
Yeah.
So eventually I had to move to Kolkata away from Ritu ma'am, obviously, and I couldn't learn under her. Uh, so that was a very sad part for me. That's why I have to leave the company within a time span of 1.5 year.
Yeah.
1 year
So
to be very
basically,
specific.
Ritu Kumar stories, when you go to Gurgaon, there's a place like you can see from the metro actually. If you are
Yes,
going to Gurgaon, just look down and you'll be seeing the Ritu Kumar store over there.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
so there you can actually work over there if somebody want to go and explore the Ritu Kumar store.
Yes,
So after you completed this Ritu Kumar and you were not actually satisfied over there actually. Looks like that.
yes,
So basically you were expecting that Ritu Kumar will be there and you could learn a lot from there. But since you did not find something that could add the value in your career, you moved from there and came back to Delhi, right?
yes. Basically, uh, I'm a sapiosexual person, and knowledge attracts me.
Hmm.
I'm an artist, and the need and hunger of an artist is very huge. They just
Yeah.
want to learn and uh, give out whatever they learned in the products, whatever they make. So
Mhm.
our hunger is very big for knowledge.
Yeah.
I was not gaining much of a things from that.
Hmm.
Yes, did learn many things, but I was hoping that I'll be able to work on the Ritu man and also learn the textile aspect of it
Hmm.
that she has seen and worked.
Hmm. Basically, actually, what happens? Ritu Kumar now turned into a very big brand actually, and she
Yes,
mostly
yes, yes.
to retailing and all kind of stuff. But when you
They
look into
just
the
got
people,
they just got funding from Reliance as well. No,
yeah.
Reliance
Also,
has a.
if
I
you look
think
into if you look into Harpreet, he's mostly into couture. He's not actually into the
yes,
retail.
yes,
So basically, you get the ready to wear kind of styles at Ritu Kumar, but when you look into
yes.
the Harpreet, you do. only get the couture kind of stuff over there.
Couture, yes. And couture asks for much minute details to be worked on.
So basically intricacies in couture, and when you look into just the ready to wear kind of stuff, anybody can do that. But since if
Yes.
you look into the and store and then the
Mm,
Ritu Kumar, they
and
are,
label.
yeah, they are kind of into there. So now you're working for which company?
Currently, I'm working with Calista. It's a print-based design label,
Mm-hmm.
and I am working as a HOD over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm handling the entire team,
Okay.
and uh, it seems like Ritu Kumar, but it's a different
Mm-hmm.
uh, because these people the brand uh, we work for um, festive wear, and you can say it's a um, uh, it comes in the couture category.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting that exact name
Mm-hmm.
of the category.
Okay. So how's your experience over here compared to if you look back your past working with many renowned designer and now you're working over here. So you have got
Oh,
more power over here.
it's
More.
not just about the power, like you know. Sorry to cut you in, but it's just like um, you must have seen uh, Spider-Man movie,
Yeah.
and there's this particular dialogue by the father of Peter Parker: "With great powers comes great responsibility." So yes, I do have a, a part of a power in my hand, but more than that, I have responsibilities.
Mm.
So I'm learning at the same time, and I'm giving my best so that
Mm.
I'll be able to at least make a difference in the brand before
Mm.
I leave.
Okay. So any specific kind of project that you're working over here?
Um, Basically, we are working on a specific project, but it hasn't been launched till yet, so I'm not allowed to say it
Okay.
because I don't want to jinx it, to be very honest. But so basically, it's a project to uplift the brand's image.
Mhm.
I am personally trying a really hard, and my seniors and the brand owners have been very supportive with my decisions, and I believe that they could see the direction I'm going
Mm.
in to the brand. So I'm working on a, specific project to up. Basically, I'm working on a line, a separate line that I think
Mm.
we will be able to launch it before before this year only.
Mm.
And hopefully, if everything comes handy and everything goes according to the plan, we'll be able to launch it before the year's end.
Great, great. So this is all about your career, and you had a kind of very challenging roles in your career, and then now settling up as a head of design. So my next question will be like, what exactly you see for yourself? What exactly you are setting the goal for your own career, where you want to actually reach, what exactly you want to achieve at this stage now?
I usually ask these questions to myself. Basically, like all the designers, I also want to have my label,
Mm-hmm.
but till now, I'm not sure whether it is going to be a design label or it is going to be a textile label.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, this is the secondary part of
Mm-hmm.
my goals. My primary goals is to be able to start uh, a small venture or a small setup where I can actually help people,
Mm-hmm.
whether be it students to help them be able to get into the industry, right kind
Mm-hmm.
of people in the right kind of industry, or or providing jobs for many people.
Hmm.
So my being able, my designer aspect is different from my helping out aspect.
Hmm.
Basically, I just want to give something out before I leave this earth. I
Hmm.
want to do good with people. And as much as I got lucky, I want everybody to feel that way. Basically, luck is just the half part of it, and the hard work also works side by side. So I do not want people to face the things that I face,
Hmm.
and do not want people to go through the things that I've gone through.
Hmm.
So I just want to give out something for people that they
Hmm.
can enjoy and that can help them to get a good job. Till
Hmm.
now, it's like that.
So basically, you have your career goals and then you have your personal goals.
Yes.
Okay. So this is all about our today's discussion on your career. In our first part, we have discussed about your college life, and in the third part, we're gonna discuss about your experience in design. So in that third part, we're gonna discuss about how to design, how is your way of design, your signature style of design. So in the third part, we're gonna discuss everything in detail, and those who want to ask the question, they can also ask the question and could
I am
join.
eagerly waiting for that, to be very honest.
So in third part, this is going to be very, very interesting to
Yes.
understand through the designer side who has worked for a very, very big projects. He has worked under a very big level. So there is a kind of specific design idea, design style, signature design, starting from the scratch and everything that. So we're gonna discuss in our third part, right?
I just want to say one thing. One thing. I'm very pleased and very honored that you've given me this platform. And like I said, I wanted to give out something for the people. And from God knows where you found me. And I'm just very happy to be the part of this thing.
Great. So we end up our today's discussion, and let's join our third part of this discussion on next week. So this is all about today's discussion. Have a good day to you all. Thank you.
Okay.
अब इसको जाना नहीं है, ठीक है, ये तो